Welcome back everybody to the Bill and Ray Show. I'm Bill. Today I'm going to be working on my old desktop computer. We're set up here today in the Technology Center of the brew house. The brewing takes place over there. We'll do that in another video one day. But today I've got all the parts here to replace all the guts of my computer. The only thing I'm keeping is the metal box and the power supply. So we're going to hopefully have some fun here, tearing into it, put back the parts, put back windows, redo everything. So why would anybody want to do this? Why would you want to rebuild a computer, not just go to Best Buy, pick out a box off the shelf, and away you go? Well, I do that most of the time. If I'm going to get a new computer for my daughter or for my wife Ray, sure, why not? Just buy a computer. I don't have to mess with it. Not much. But for me, I really enjoy being able to build my own system and maintain it, add new parts, whatever. But a lot of years have gone by. My old computer box here, it probably was last updated when I updated to Windows 7. I was running a 32-bit system, so when I upgraded to Windows 10, I was still running 32-bit Windows 10. And you can only put 4 gigabytes of memory in a system like that, plus you take out some for the system video, and you don't have enough memory to run Photoshop and process videos like this one. So I need more memory. I need to upgrade to Windows 64-bit. And once you do that, one thing leads to another. That's our favorite phrase these days. So you got to get a new processor, you got to get a new motherboard because the processor needs a new motherboard, and then you got to get new memory because your old memory doesn't necessarily work with the new motherboard. Plus the old memory sticks are wimpy, they're small. So, and then the optical drive, the CD drive, the one I've got is an IDE interface. I don't know if anybody even knows what that is anymore, but it's this big fat ribbon cable. That's what they all were back in the day. And now we've got a new SATA drive. Got a little itty bitty cable. Works a lot faster, better. So I originally wanted to get into this for $200, let's say. And I've gone a little bit overboard. I had $240 going until I decided to just go ahead and put in a new optical drive. I could have just used an external drive we've got laying around. But I thought, what the heck, another $30, I'll get a brand new, good fast drive. And the only thing I really use that for is to load programs, which you do like once and then who knows what. But then I can watch a movie, I can burn a disc if that's such a thing anymore. So anyway, I hope you can stick around. We're going to have some fun, and you might learn a thing or two, have a laugh. Hope you can enjoy the show. There's the processor, AMD FX 6300. This is the motherboard I'm using. It's apparently ultra durable. It says ultra durable once, twice, 3 times, and it's ultra cool. That's got to be good. It's ultra performance, ultra safe. So I'm pretty excited about this motherboard. It seems pretty ultra spiffy. And then we have this kind of a funny black box, ZOTAC. This is the graphics card. It's all nicely wrapped up in here. It's a real simple, cheap graphics card. I don't really like that they have fans on these things. I wish they'd just be passive cooling, but that's what we got. Comes with a little cable here. The hard drive cable. It's of course in an anti-static bag. So we shouldn't really handle that without having our anti-static strap on. But, and yay, there's instructions, a disc, and the all-important back plate. Without this, things kind of suck. zero force insertion socket. So it starts off up, and we start off with our chip going this direction. You just plop it on there. I believe that's in place. Close this little hook on there. Then there's the fan. This fan already has the thermal material on there, so that's good. Somewhere around here, CPU fan. So, fan, that's what you do. You just stick it on there, a hook there, a hook there, and then we have a little cam action thing here. Snuggies it all in place. There's a mark in there, so that slot has to go into there. We can go here, 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 here. Let's go out here. Go out to the bleachers. And go into our slot. Oh, look at that board flex. That's not really very polite. Okay, snapped into place. So we got memory, we got our processor, we got our fan. It's secured onto there. Now, board goes in to the case. It doesn't fit this case. Well, it didn't take long to run into our first little snafu here. This is the motherboard I pulled out of this case. And this is my new motherboard. And as you can see, it's not going to fit. This is a micro ATX board, and this is a regular full-size ATX board. But fortunately, I've done this before, and I have another case or two or three laying around. So this one's a bigger case. I don't have a power supply in it. It's about all that's good in here. Fortunately, I can take this power supply out, put it in there. Away we go. So we've made some good progress. We've got the motherboard installed in the case. We've got our hard drives installed. We have 3 of them. I'm only going to hook up one to begin with to load Windows and get everything sorted, and then I'll plug in the other 2 hard drives later. And we've got our optical drive installed. And now the tricky one is all these little wires here. There's one that's for the power switch, one's for the hard drive light, one's for, oh, what do we got? I don't know, one thing on the speakers and the reset and so on. So I have to figure out where these plug in to the motherboard. There's usually a little header in the wiring there. It's down in there in the bottom. Try and get another shot of that. And I'm gonna have to read the manual and see if I can figure out where all those little wires go. So we'll be back in a minute. So we're going to go to the BIOS features, we're going to go to our boot drive, and we want to try this generic drive. Hopefully that is our USB drive. Save and exit. Save and exit setup. Save configuration reset. You bet. There we go. We're just going to start running Windows. Yay, Windows. So this begins the long process of setting up Windows and loading software and all kinds of fun stuff. So we'll continue on when we get something a little more exciting on the screen. So it's been about 40 minutes since I first started trying, and it took a little bit too long. I didn't have the hard drive set up right. I had to start kind of all over and get it going again. If you have a hard drive, whether it's a new one or in this case it was pre-partitioned, delete all the partitions, get rid of everything, let Windows put in the partitions it likes. It's got a few little ones that it adds in there. And then break up, this is a 2 terabyte hard drive. So I broke it up into 4 roughly 500 gigabyte sections. So my C drive will be 500 gigs and I'll have 3 other 500 gig drives to add data to. And we're already up to the screen where it's having me sign into Microsoft. So it's going to be up and running here pretty quick. Well, there we are. Windows, just the bare guts of it, is up and running. The first thing you should do is install an antivirus. I like Avast, and I don't really like Windows Internet Explorer, so I'll install Google Chrome first thing. Alright, check it out. Well, there we go. A little over an hour since I had my hardware put together. Windows is up and running even with the 10-15 minute snafu that I had with my hard drive confusion. And I've got Avast running, saying I'm protected here. And then we check our system. And we can see here that we're running an AMD FX 6300 6-core processor at 3.5 gigahertz. We have 8 gigabytes installed RAM. And we're running Windows 10 Pro 64-bit operating system. So I'm really happy. I think we got it up and running, and we're ready to rock and roll. See you guys next time. Welcome back to the Bill and Ray Show. I'm Bill, and today I'm going to be rebuilding my trusty old desktop computer. I've got my computer here, and I'm going to have to take out all the old parts and put in some new parts because my computer is just not doing it. I can't run the software I need to run. It crashes, it says I don't have enough memory, it complains, and it locks up. And hopefully these computer upgrades are going to make my programs just rocking along and going to do all kinds of amazing things like edit these kind of videos a little bit better. So welcome to the... Let's try that again. So welcome to the technology wing of the brew house. The brewing operation goes on over here. We'll get into that another day, unless things go really badly today. And well, we got the brew house, so that's a good thing. So why rebuild a computer? Don't you just go buy a new one? What's this guy doing, building up a computer? That's crazy talk. Just buy a new one. Well, I do. I usually buy a new computer. I buy a new computer for my wife or my daughter, but not for me. If I need some new computer stuff, I'm going to put it together because I have fun. I get to shop on eBay, I get to find good deals, I save a little money, I spend ridiculous amounts of time doing it, but at the end of the day, it's the journey and it's fun. And I hope you can come along with this silliness and have some fun too. So we got some waves crashing in the background. Hopefully that's not too loud. It's on the computer. It's not really waves right over here, but I like the waves. It reminds me of the beach we had up at our beach cabin. Yeah, it's just kind of soothing and relaxing because this operation can get a little stressful, but it's not as stressful as doing an iPad or iPod when you need to replace the battery and you're taking this thing apart and there's these itty bitty little screws. I mean, a bunch of little screws, and then they look kind of the same, but they're not the same. And you have to put every little screw you take out on a piece of tape so that it sticks each one of those screws where they're supposed to go, because there's a little difference. Some are a little bit longer. Oh my gosh, it's nutsy how they put those things together. So we're not going to get that stressed. These parts are big. The screws, I can see them without a microscope. I like that. They still get away from you for fumble fingers and all that. But this is going to work. I'm really excited to be doing this. I really need some more computer power. And this is going to be just what I need to get up and cranking again. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to have to buy some better parts, I guess, and try this all over again. But this will be good. I know it will be. I'm pretty confident. I've done this a few times before. I started off with an Apple II Plus computer when it first came out. It had the great innovation that it would produce lowercase letters. Before that, the Apple II original computer, it only had uppercase letters in monochrome. The Apple II Plus added lowercase letters. Then I bought an Apple IIe when it came out just a couple of years later because it had color. Granted, it's only green and red and I don't know, purple, and they had a couple of colors. And I guess they counted black and white as another couple of colors. But that was gold. Unfortunately, the monitors were very expensive, so us poorly types that only laid down $2,000 for our computer system, grant you, this is back in the day. $2,000 was a lot of money. So instead of buying a monitor, you used your color television if you had one, and I bought a 13-inch color TV. It had the inline mask on it. There was the state-of-the-art technology of the day to make a clear picture, and you get up close to that screen and you can see all these little bars in there. I mean, it's just horrible picture. By today's standards, it'd be ridiculous. But that's what we had. And you could fire that thing up and you could play Asteroids. Oh my gosh. You didn't have to plug quarters in there. I mean, you know, for long you've spent $2,000 in quarters easily at the arcade, so you're better off to buy the computer and do all that stuff. Privacy of your own home, with your buds, whatever. Your buds, yeah, your friends. And that was a big innovation, man. Those were good days. So then my favorite game that came out way back when was Hadron. And it was a space game. And these little guys came in from the distance. I don't know, whatever. I made all these weird little electronic, spacey noises. And of course you try and shoot them before they get you. And if they come all the way up and get you, then the game ended and you say, Hadron! Something or other. So that was the big fancy game, and I think he just ran it on a keyboard. You know, I mean, the innovation then was to have a joystick. Oh my gosh, that was a long time ago. So then I had a 386 computer. I think at that time the APU, the arithmetic processing unit, was a separate chip. It wasn't even on the computer. The CPU chip was separate from the math chip. And then they put the two together. And you had the 486, and it's like, oh my gosh, one chip, and it's got math, can do floating point math. I mean, it was sad because you could get a little scientific calculator even back then that would outperform the mathematical calculations of a PC. Who knew? It was just, you know, a little dedicated math processing scientific calculator. They weren't cheap either, but they were actually more capable back in the day than the PC was. Until I think they had this built-in APU in the 486 computer. There's going to be some people commenting, you know, it's like, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Probably don't. Google it, whatever. But I was there. I don't remember it real well, but I was there. And that was the great thing. But we spent a lot of money on those computers back in the day. So today I'm going to do all this work. The parts cost me about $240. And they're not the latest and greatest technology. The motherboard processor technology started in 2011, but that's newer than the car I'm driving. So I'm driving a 2008 Subaru and I love it, and it seems like a new car. So I think this computer is going to seem like a sweet ride. We'll check it out and have some fun. Hopefully you can stick around and have a laugh. Alright, check it out.